Hey everyone, it's been quite a bit of time since my NAIC video, and I guess after NAIC, I kind of took a little break, just did some other stuff. But just recently, I started getting back into the locals. I know the new 2025 season, I guess like for uh, the next competitive season has started, so all the points reset. Fortunately, that also means all the points I got from NAIC also reset, but that means I can start from scratch and try to get that ace trainer status. And I don't think I'm gonna grind it out for Worlds next year, but I'll try to get as many points as I can and attend some regionals. But yeah, so big news. I finally won my first locals. And the best part about it is I won a league challenge. So that's like one of I think it's the lowest tier of competitive event. So really happy that that happened. And yeah, I guess I'll just give a summary of the past a few weeks, what I've been doing. So I think it's really just 2 weeks. I went to a lot of tournaments the past 2 weeks. And yeah, I guess before I jump into that, actually, uh, after NAIC, I was like, you know what? I've been playing Gardevoir for. I mean, I haven't been playing for that long compared to some players, but I guess for with Gardevoir, I've only been playing it since I started playing 4 months ago, and I was thinking, you know what? I actually kind of want to get some of the nice shiny cards for some of my favorite cards in the deck. So during NAIC, I picked up the Cleffa and the Screamtail promo cards, which are really shiny, and I love the art. They're very cute. And I actually got the two Gardevoir illustration rares as well. So I got the Paldean Fates, the blue shiny Gardevoir dancing by the lake, and I also have the family portrait Gardevoir, the one with the wife and the husband. Yeah, so I got these two. Like the family one is like I don't know, it's like $30. The Paldean Fates one was 70. And yeah, so now my deck is a lot more expensive than I originally intended. Um, I personally I like the family Gardevoir a little bit more than the Paldean Face shiny one, but I think they're both really cool. So it's nice to have two in my deck, and like the count is perfect because my deck runs two Gardevoir now. So different illustration rare Gardevoirs is kind of nice. And of course, I picked up a shiny Drifloon from I think all the Paldean Fates set as well. Unfortunately, there is no illustration rare for the Drifloon, so I just stuck to the shiny one. I know a lot of players who play Gardevoir don't even run Drifloon anymore, but I still love Drifloon. I feel like it's such a it's got a soft spot in my deck, that's for sure. And obviously I'm still running the regular Ralts and Curlias. I think realistically I could what is it? Upgrade my Ralts and Curlias, but I think the Ralts and Curlies are actually kind of expensive. They're like the same price as the $30 Gardevoir. So it's just like I don't really want to buy like 5 copies of $30 cards at the moment. Maybe in the future. Also, I think like the next set has like a better Curlia, like 100 HP Curlia, or maybe that's like a set after. But anyway, I feel like the Ralts and Curlias I might have to switch them out at some point. So, but I think the other guys in here are pretty going to be pretty static. So, yeah, that's it for my deck update. And because I am running a $70 card in my deck, I know like some people run like the $300 Pikachu and like other like $300 $200 cards. $70 is not that much, but I was just like, you know what, I feel like I need to give it a little bit more protection. So I actually bought some perfect fit sleeves. So all my cards are now double sleeved, which means my deck is a lot thicker. It's a little harder to shuffle, but I feel like I've gotten the hang of shuffling now pretty quickly. So even though it's double sleeved, it doesn't feel too bad to shuffle. I think another thing is now that my cards are double sleeved, I don't think I'll have the water damage incident happen again, like what happened at NAIC. So I guess that's like an extra bit of reassurance that my cards will be well protected. Yeah, so I guess going into the games I played over the past month, I'll start off with the first weekly I went to on the when I came like I think this was like maybe it's like 2 weeks ago. So this was a weekly. We had 31 players. This was at the game store that I frequent the most. And yeah, I got fourth place out of 31, which is pretty solid. I had a bunch of solid wins. Let me just take a look at my what exactly happened in these wins. So in this one, I start off with a Dragapult matchup. That one was relatively straightforward. I don't think it was the Dusknar variant, so a lot easier for me. I made some mistakes, I think, based on my notes, but I win anyway because Clefairy wasn't prized. So that was a easy one. Game two, I went against Gardevoir Mirror. I actually won this one in overtime. So I think it almost went to a tie too, or like it could have been. It was pretty close. I don't think it was like super far. And then so game three, I went against a Joltik box. And I think all three games I went first. Like I lost the coin flip and I had to go first. So pulling out two wins out of there was pretty good. Third game against the Joltik box, I played it. I think I played it well in terms of like they were able to set up a lot faster than I was, so they started taking KOs with Iron Hands. But at the end, I kept on Ionoing them to like one or to two, and then the what was that? What was the thing? Yeah, or I owned them down. I had charms on Monkey Dory, so they couldn't get clapped. But unfortunately, like the turn before I can get the final KO, I think I was using Scream Tail to set up like kills on the bench as well. So the turn before I can finally end it with Monkey Dory, damage, Monkey Dory damage. Uh, my opponent top deck boss off of after the Iono'd them to like one. So sometimes it is what it is. They run four boss, so a top deck boss is not like super unlikely. And it's funny because actually this Joltik box player was the one who got first place in this tournament. So lost to first place, not too bad. And then my fourth round, I went against a Team Rocket's Mewtwo and Spidops. This one was uh, pretty simple for me. I just set up Monkey, set up Gardevoir, and then take multi prizes. My opponent did make a little misplay in the mid game where they could have knocked out my Curlia, and but they played a little greedier than they should have. And I think it wouldn't have ended the game, but it definitely gave me more chances to come back. And then my final game, I went against another Joltik box, and my opponent basically bricked, but I had a really good opener with the double evolve into two Curlias. So that was a pretty easy win for me. And then, yeah, overall went 4-1. And I got quite a few packs from this one. I think they were actually, yeah, so they were giving out. Yeah, they were giving out Paldea Evolved packs, which is kind of interesting because every other store is giving out Destined Rivals, but they were giving out Paldea Evolved. I got like six extra Paldea Evolved packs from going fourth, which is pretty good, pretty solid, almost as much as NIC with those 9 packs. And yeah, so I didn't think I pulled anything really good. Nothing super shiny. But yeah, the tournament right after that one, I went to it was at the same game store, but this time it was a league challenge. And yeah, I haven't been to a challenge in a while, so I was like, okay, hopefully I could do just as well as I did last time, or the week before. And for this one, I did pretty well. I went 5-1 overall, and I went second. So I guess the my deck became more pay to win, and therefore I'm winning more. So that's probably why. So in this one, let's see, I played. There were a lot of players, 39 players. So we played 6 games. Started off with against a whole box. My opponent had a pretty rough start, and I had a pretty decent start, I would say. So I started sniping their Charcadets because I knew like once the Charcadets turn into Armarouge, then it gets a little trickier. So I just kept on sniping the Charcadets, and it was a pretty solid win out from there. Game two, I played against a Cyril Edge player that I played against a while back, and we're also kind of like, he was one of the first players I've ever met when I started playing, so it was nice seeing him again. And yeah, so Cyril Edge was pretty close actually. I almost lost due to Jamming Tower. Completely forgot that card existed and could be played in Zero Ledge. But managed to pull out the win in the end. Game three, it was against a Pidgeot Dragapult, which was very interesting because I saw the Pidgeot and I was like, oh crap, it's Charizard. But there was no Charizard. It was just Dragapult. I was actually kind of scared too because this player, like, they had like, I think they were talking about how they were going to Worlds, and I'm like, damn, Worlds level player on game three, kind of scary. But yeah, they were playing Pidgeot Dragapult, which what even happened here? I think during the mid game I did like some researches and I just had really good draws, like probably into like multiple earthen vessels, and yeah, so managed to win out game three. There was no threat of Charizard, so I guess it's like it's not really that different than regular Dragapult, I guess. Yeah, and then I think so far, like throughout this league challenge, I had really good luck. Like I was winning the coin flip and going second, like pretty much all my games. So I think that also contributed to the fact that I was able to win out pretty well. And yeah, game four, I think that was just against a pure Dragapult player. I just remember I got Itchy Pollened a lot, and they attacked first, which is kind of good for me because I guess like the issue with like Dragapult Dust Noir is that if they itchy pollen me a lot and then they attack, by that point they're taking out multiple Ralts, multiple Kirlias, and I can't set up, and it's really hard to come back. But yeah, so because they were just pure Dragapult, it wasn't as scary. So I was able to, I think I was able to just come back after losing out some like early, maybe like one early Ralt or something, and then I was able to rare candy. So wasn't too bad. And then game five, another Dragapult player. Just my luck. I mean, these are pretty good matchups for me. But yeah, this one I actually lost because I think what happened? I think the issue was my opponent got a jamming tower out and I couldn't bump it off because I discarded my first artisan, and then my second artisan was prized. So because I didn't couldn't bump off the jamming tower, all my charms were useless, including the one on my Clefairy. So I think like near the end, I also needed to play for an Iono because I was behind on prizes and my opponent had a very large hand. So I think what happened was near the end, my opponent all they needed was a boss's orders, and they had it because they had such a huge hand. So yeah, game five, I did lose that one. I think I'm honestly not too sure. Really wish I could review that game to see if I can do better. But yeah, the player I lost to in that game five was actually the first place player. So losing to the first place player is honestly not that bad. It doesn't feel too bad. And then game six, I went up against a Terror Box, and this was a Terror Box running Dusk Noir, which I've actually never seen before. And I had a really rough start because what happened was I had two Ralts prized, and normally in my play against Terror Box, especially when they got the Wellspring, I threw out three Ralts, right? Super easy. But no, I had two Ralts prized, so I only had one Ralts, and it was just impossible to get Gardevoir out. Like I got Gardevoir out on like the very like a turn or two before the game ended, and I had to Night Stretcher Ralts like twice because it just kept on getting knocked out by the Wellspring. I don't run Shaman. I don't run any tech cards, so it was just a sitting duck. Um, I actually shouldn't have won this game because so my opponent does this really neat play where after I confused their water pond, they would retreat it for free with Latios, bring up a Dust Skull or Dusk Noir or Dusclops, and then pop it, and then the water pond comes back and is unconfused. So they actually did that one turn in the mid game to basically undo my Monkey Dory confuse, and then the last turn of the game, or like the second last turn of the game, they could have done. They were if they did the same play again, they would have won won the game. But I guess like probably like it was kind of stressful because we were just down to like a few prizes because I was just hitting with Monkey Dories the whole time. Um, and what happened was my opponent forgot to do the same thing they did like the turn like two turns before, and they had to coin flip for the Monkey Dory confuse, and lucky for me, I won the coin flip. So what happened was, I was able to just like knock out the water pond and like a bench Pokemon for the win. So yeah, that was not really a deserving win, but it bumped me up to second place. So I'm not complaining. And because I got bumped up to second place, the pricing was insane. Like, because we had 39 players for this league challenge. So I think I got 16 Destined Rival packs, which is like 16 packs for like just a local weekly. Like, oh, that's great. And this is not including the free Destined Rival pack and prize pack that we got for entry. So yeah, I got 16 Destined Rival packs. Unfortunately, I opened them all. Nothing good. I think I got like a Clam Pearl illustration rare, just like I did at NAIC. And yeah, so what I learned from this is that do not open Destined Rivals. The hit rates, anecdotally, are terrible. So yeah, that's what I got out of it. Like I've opened so many Destined Rival packs from these tournaments, and I just get nothing. So yeah. So yeah, there was another. I don't even know why I tracked this one. So I went to this one game store that was hosting like an annual sort of tournament, and the pricing was insane because it's free entry, but first place gets 4 Destined Rival booster bundles, so it's like 700 something dollars of pricing, or just for first place, and then like second, third also get a crap ton of packs. So like, so I went here just because like the pricing was insane. And it turns out there were 64 players at this tournament. Like, I feel like everyone in New York was just like, "Oh my god, I've never seen pricing this good," and they all just went. And this was an interesting location because they had like a good amount of space inside, but their AC was like barely working, so everyone was like just dying of heat because I think like midway through the tournament, I actually walked outside because people were like, "It's actually warmer, cooler outside." And this is like a hot summer day, right? Like, it's like 30 degrees, almost 30 degrees Celsius, which is like 80 something Fahrenheit for the Americans. And yeah, it's just really hot. Like you could go outside and feel cooler than inside the venue. And I did not do well this tournament. I I'd like to say I'd blame it on the heat, but really it was I made a lot of misplays, which could also be because of the heat. So my first game, I went against an Archaludon player, and they played with like Hero's Cape, which was super tanky. But the only reason I won this was because they forgot, or like they didn't expect me to run Drifloon. And because a lot of Guardy players removed the Drifloon now, or at least the new ones that started playing Guardy recently after all the tournament success. Because I think right now the number one Guardy deck is the one with 4 Monkey Dories, no Drifloon, mainly teched for Grimmsnarl and the Mirror. But yeah, so like I guess my opponent didn't expect the Drifloon, and then they left their 300 HP Archaludon in the active instead of their 400 on the last turn, and so I just Drifloon Bravery Charm knocked it out and got the win. Um, let's see. I think uh yeah, that game was also like a little lucky for me because I had a really bad hand early on, but then I top decked into Arvin, which allowed me to get Secret Box, which is like it just fixed everything. Yeah, so that was game one. Game two, I went up against a Charizard Pidgeot player, and I think I played this matchup wrong because what happened was they had Shaman, so I couldn't snipe bench, and I had to I think I researched away 2 counter catchers early, which basically meant I will never kill the Pidgeot on bench, and that was fine. But so I think like I set up way faster than the Charizard player did, so I just started hitting the active, getting staying ahead in prizes. But yeah, the issue with that was that later on, because my opponent had Pidgeot, they just boss up or countercatcher Gardevoir at every opportunity. So I eventually fell behind, and I think in the last turn, my opponent was able to what did they do? My opponent was I benched a Drifloon with Bravery Charm on my bench preemptively because I was gonna Iono or research, and my opponent just they actually counter captured the Drifloon with Bravery Charm and killed it with their Charizard. So I had no way to actually kill their Charizard unless I grab another Drifloon and an via like Night Stretcher, and I also need another Charm as well. So That was interesting. I think the correct play in the Charizard Pidgeot matchup is actually let them attack first. Set up as many Guardies as I can. Let them attack first, and then counter capture the Pidgeot to go for the KO into Iono. I think that is the correct way to play the Charizard Pidgeot, because if they have Pidgeot up, it's like really hard to play the game. So I think I made a mistake in that one, like just like from an overall gameplay like goal perspective. So that one's on me. So game three, I went against a pure Dragapult here, and I was very ahead. I was so ahead, and then for some reason, I played Fez without before I had a Pokemon be knocked out. Because for some reason in my head, I was like, oh, what if I get Iono'd and don't have access to Fez? But it doesn't matter because I was so ahead. Why would I bench Fez for no reason? So yeah, so I benched Fez, and then my opponent took like a multi-turn, or they bossed up Fez, killed a bunch of stuff, and I actually just lost because uh I just gave them a free two prize. So yeah, I think I also had Cleffa in play, which allowed them to get even more prizes. So yeah, game three, that was really bad. I think that loss like just broke me. Or that misplay, like it destroyed my mental. Game four, I went against the Mewtwo Spidops player that I played like a few weeks ago, and I I played so bad. I think an issue was I just left. I kept on sniping their Tarantulas without any like monkeys to like set up more bench damage, and I left their Mewtwo with their energies active, so they could just like keep on pulling out Rocket's Pokemon and attack Mewtwo. And then on the last turn, I made this really bad misplay where I Ionoed them down to like one, and then I killed something on bench for no reason, which proc their Fez. Which what I should have done is I shouldn't have KO'd their thing on bench. I should have waited, and then the next turn I could have taken two prizes or a bench KO and an active KO and won the game. But I don't know. I think my brain was fried. I blame it on the heat, but it's because I made a bunch of misplays, and I think my mental was kind of boomed for this one. So yeah, after three losses, I dropped out of this one. Nothing. The only learnings I had here was: is it ever worth benching Drifloon with Bravery Charm early? Yeah, game four, I actually did the same thing. I benched Drifloon with Bravery Charm early, and I think my opponent actually bossed it up with, or Giovanni's orders bossed it up and killed it. So I couldn't kill the Mewtwo and the active in one turn. So I think two games in this tournament I actually lost because I benched Drifloon with Bravery Charm too early. So I'm thinking maybe it's actually not a good idea to bench Drifloon with Bravery Charm unless I know I can get a new one. Yeah, I don't know. It's a really hard it's a really hard decision because like if you don't bench it, then like there's a chance that you can't get it back, and also like it has a threatening aura. Like people are scared of the balloon, especially the ones with big basic or like big units. So I think this is something I still need to think about over time because it's hard. It's hard. Just recently, I went to two more league challenges. So I went to one yesterday, and this one only had 21 players, and I placed third, which is also pretty good. Interestingly enough, like the other two where I went top four, my only loss was to the first place player, which it's feeling pretty good. I feel like I'm doing pretty well overall. So what exactly happened in this challenge? My first game, I went against a Raging Bolt. I had a pretty solid, good setup. So Raging Bolt, honestly, I have a pretty good like track record against Raging Bolt. So due to the favored matchup, I was able to pick up the win there. And then yeah, I went against two Gardevoirs this tournament. I feel like usually I face like maybe one Gardevoir, but I faced two Gardevoirs in 4 games. Like that's 50% of my games. But you know what? My first Gardevoir mirror opponent actually played Badoo, which is interesting because I feel like most Guardies don't run Badoo anymore. But I was able to Evo out of the Badoo and eventually just get really far ahead. So I was able to win from that spot because the Badoo eventually is just a liability for the other Gardevoir player. Game three, oh boy, I actually think I should have lost this Gardevoir mirror because I made these two really bad misplays in the mid game where I failed to take a prize when I should have. So like I was like two prizes down. Or like I was like a prize yeah, I was like a prize down more than I should have been. Um so but the only reason I came back in game 3 was at the end. Like I had the drift loom set up and my opponent messed up because they pushed their Guardy in the active, and only put 3 psychics on it. And I think if they put one more psychic on like a bench, like Pokemon, like anything really, like Monkey, or just put some damage counters on their bench. Like if I knock out their Gardevoir in the active, they could just kill my Drifloon for a game. But because I was down in prizes, right? And they I think they kind of rushed their minds their thinking. So they didn't prep for the turn after. And because they put the Gardevoir up, I just put I Drifloom, knocked it out, and then they had nothing. I guess the only thing they could have done is like they could have searched for one energy to attach to a monkey to hit with a monkey. But I think at that point they only had like maybe one energy in deck, and they were only at like 2 cards in hand. So it would have been really hard for them to get it. So yeah, I kind of won game 3 due to my opponent misplaying, which isn't as great, but you know it is what it is. We have to take those sometimes. Um, and yeah. And then my game 4, oh, this one was interesting because I go against my opponent, and we were talking about, hey, maybe we should, if this is the last game, we should ID, right? Like, or intentionally draw, because then we're guaranteed. We were both 3-0, and that would guarantee us first and second place. Um, and the thing is, my opponent, he was talking about how his matchup into Gardevoir is horrendous, and if he could take an ID, he would take it right now. And I was like, oh, okay, well, but like, I would actually be down to ID if this was the last game. But then the TO said it was a 5 game league challenge, even though I was like, does that make sense? We don't have enough players for 5 games. But because the TO said it was a 5 game league challenge, I was just like, okay, there's no point in IDing this because we still have another game after. So, I mean, like, yeah, I turned down the ID, but and we played it out. And turns out my opponent was playing a Clefairy box with like the Lily's Pearl, like Lily's Clefairy box. And I was like, wow, that is interesting. And but unfortunately for me, I bricked out so hard. I bricked out so hard that game that like I literally didn't get a Ralts until like turn 3. And I was also my opponent knocked out I think I started Clefairy and Cleffa, and my opponent just knocked out both of those, and I just couldn't come back. I mean, I did make a little misplay there, but my opener was horrendous, and so I lost there. And my opponent with the Clefairy box actually got first place, which is pretty cool. But I was just like, if the tournament organizer didn't say it was 5 games, I would have ID. I probably would have ID'd there and then taken the second. Or I think based on like our matchup resistance, I probably would have gone second, which is fine. But instead I got third, which honestly isn't even that bad. It's like I still got, let's see, what did I get? I got 7 Dust and Rivals packs for third. So yeah, 7 Dust and Rivals packs for third. Honestly, not even a loss. I feel like the last game my opponent was like trying to learn to beat the Guardian matchup, and he's just like, I didn't learn anything from this match. Yeah, so that was pretty fun. I went to one last one. Yeah, the most recent one I went to was the one today, and this is the one I got first in. Quite proud of this one because it was a pretty large league challenge. There was a total We had a total of 45 players. Initially, I thought it was only 24 because they said they were going to cap it, but then it was 45. I was going to go to another tournament, but because this one was 6 games, I didn't have time. Well, good thing I didn't because I did really well. I actually played really well this tournament because like I think like half my matchups were Gardevoir, and normally I have a pretty bad matchup into Gardevoir, but today I won the Gardevoir gauntlet. Like I am the most powerful Gardevoir technically, because I think 2 of the Gardevoirs I played were actually ended up in the top 8. So these were like pretty good Gardevoir players, I would say, or pretty solid. Yeah, I'll go down in the breakdown of these games. First game I went against a Team Rocket's Porygon Z. One interesting fact about this game was that I actually asked around like before the tourney started if anybody wanted to practice, and the Porygon Z player actually we played like a practice game, and he got a pretty convincing win out of me. So I was like, damn, this Porygon Z deck is kind of like it can do pretty well. And then I saw the pairing, and we got matched against each other, which is bad for my opponent because now I know his secret sauce, right? Um, and I think like when we played the practice game, I did have like a kind of iffy start. So, and he had a good one. So maybe that contributed to it. But when we actually played our real game, I had a pretty solid start. I was able to get a Gardevoir Screamtail out with some energies in the discard. And so like all I did was I sniped his Porygons before they evolved into Porygon Z. And I felt kind of bad because like my opponent couldn't really come back from that. They don't really have a lot of ways to go straight from Porygon to Porygon Z. So that one was I kind of like had a really strong start and won that one. Game two, I went against a Guardy Mirror, and I noticed that they play Mew. I no longer play Mew because I feel like it doesn't help that much in matchups. I much prefer Cleffa. And I noticed they benched the Mew early to get the restart value. But I was able to use that Mew as my late game out. I think we were very close in prizes, but at the end I was able to Screamtail kill the Mew, even though it had a Bravery Charm. One kind of silly mistake I did was I actually had like game a turn before the final round, but I misread how many psychics I had in my discard. So I passed a turn because I knew my opponent couldn't kill me. And then the turn after, I was like, oh, I shouldn't have passed. I should have just killed them. So I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to BM or anything. But yeah, so I won the Guardy matchup there. And then, man, there were so many Gardevoirs at this tournament. I feel like, especially after NAIC, like Gardevoir is like the deck that everyone's trying to play now. Which I guess is it's not as fun playing the mirror, but I guess it's okay for me because like if I have a more experience than the other Gardevoir players that just switched to Gardevoir, then that's good for me, I guess. But yeah, no, some of these players are pretty good, even if they haven't been playing for that long. Like at least they haven't been playing Gardevoir specifically. Round three, I went against another Gardevoir, and this is so I noticed I mentioned how like a lot of people take out Drifloon, but I like to keep Drifloon. This was one of those games where Drifloon came in clutch because basically I think every Gardevoir player I played was running the 4 Monkey Turbo Energize, no Drifloon. And then so like in the game three against this Gardevoir player, I was able to. I think in this one I'm thinking I actually benched Drifloon with the bravery charm early, and it was just kind of like a passive threat on my bench. And it came into clutch at the end because I was able to. I did get a lucky research after I got Iono to like 2, which allowed me to get the last energy in my discard and hit for KO with my Drifloon. So, but Drifloon came in clutch. I gotta say, like my opponent, they couldn't close out the game, and I had the 300 damage on the Drifloon. So that was the game difference for that game three. So pretty happy with keeping Drifloon in my deck. So I'll probably keep it around for more. Game four, I went against a Dragapult Dusknoir, and I think I played this game exceptionally well in the sense that there's been so many times where Dragapult Dusknoir I play against this matchup, and what happens is they knock out my Gardevoir, and then I have to set up another Gardevoir. But this time, what I did was when in the turn where I anticipated that they would knock out my Gardevoir with the Dusknoir and the Phantom Dive, I put 2 Psychics on my Clefairy, so that even if my Gardevoir gets knocked out, I would have a secondary attacker. And because I did that, I was able to kind of grab it. I was able to use the damage counters that they put on my bench and throw that into their Shaman, and I was able to take a 3-turn prize after they knocked out my Guardy, which got me the game. Which it's not like a super big play, but I feel like after getting losing enough games against Dragonpult Dusknoir, that was like I learned something. I learned something. So yeah, that was a good win for me. I felt pretty good about that one. And then game five, I went against yet another Guardy Mirror. Today was the true Gardevoir Gauntlet. And this one was I actually kept Drifloon hidden until the very very end, because I think like my opponent they thought they didn't expect me having Drifloon, and because it was hidden, I think on the last like sort of turn they left the Guardian in the active, and we were like I think it was like they had one price left, I had two. They left the Guardian in the active, so I Artisan for my Drifloon, attached to Bravery Charm, and then gave it a big smack. So that was if anything, the Drizzling is actually like kind of a tech card for the Gardevoir matchup because a lot of people aren't running it anymore. Because nowadays, like I could just put my Gardevoir into the active and not be scared of a KO because they're running four monkeys. What are they gonna do? Yeah, so that was a pretty solid win for me. And then my last game, I actually ID'd this one because my opponent came to me. They were like, "Oh, by the way, the final prize for like the tournament is, I think it's like $200 of store credit for the first place player and like 100 for the second place player." And my opponent said if I took an ID with him, we would split it like 150 each. And I'm like, that's actually not bad. Guaranteed 150 versus like a chance of 200 and a chance of like less than 100 because like you could bubble out of the top two. So I was thinking, you know what? Let's ID. And my opponent was pretty happy about the ID because they were playing like a Dragapult Dusknoir, which is slightly unfavored, I guess you could say. So I was just like, yeah, let's take an ID, but let's still play a fun game. And then the good thing about this was even in our like for fun game, I still won. I think like in the end, it was really close. It came down to two Monkey Dory coin flips. I lost one and I won one, and in the end, I won the game. So even in our practice match, I still won, even if it ended up in a tie on the official score. But the good thing about this is that because of my resistance or my opponent's win rate, because I win against like two of the Gardevoirs that landed in top eight, I had a slightly better opponent win rate, which bubbled me up to first place. So even though like we intentionally drew, I still got the first place. So I think it's pretty well deserved, especially because in our practice game, I still won. I still won per se. So there's that. And yeah, that was today was a good day. Today was a good day. I feel like I played pretty well across most of my games, and of course I won $150 worth of store credit, which is pretty nice. Honestly, I could use it to buy some like other stuff that's not just packs. Like I'm kind of tired of opening these Destined Rivals packs. I'm just gonna save the store credit for something else, probably like the Riftbound TCG when it comes out. And yeah, that was my league challenge, my first win in a league challenge, and pretty proud of how well I did so far. Um, and yeah, I think like especially today since I went against so many Guardy players, it did really feel like I was proving myself to be, like doing better than the other Guardy players. But I think a lot of it also depended on the fact that I had the surprise of the Drifloon, whereas other people weren't running the Drifloon. So you know what? It could go either way if they knew exactly how my deck was structured. This was a pretty long update, I would say. Had a lot of tournaments to summarize. I guess from this point on, I'm probably yeah, I'm probably gonna go to some cups, some more challenges, just to max out on the points. Mainly since I kind of want to get that ace trainer status for next year, and if I do that well, maybe I could try for worlds. Probably not. It's a big time commitment. So yeah, that's gonna be it then. Thank you for watching.